Hello, everyone. Hi, Ashley. Ashley, I made you a co-host. We are still waiting for Erin. I don't know if she had a little mix-up today or she's having some trouble getting in. Hopefully not. Trying to get the lighting right and everything. Since I'm out of town, I'm working in a different spot than I usually am. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Anna. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Wonderful. Glad you could make it. Let me see if I can get in touch.
I missed your first one.
Oh, with Nick last week.
Yeah, I think it was the one with is it harassment, sexual harassment?
Oh, yes, that one too. Yes.
Come on.
Okay.
Maybe running that one again.
Oh, okay.
All right. Hi, Holly.
Okay, ven aquí. Okay.
Good afternoon, good morning.
All right, looks like we got just about everybody here, but our presenter, we were connecting this morning. Hopefully everything is okay with her. Let me just double check. I don't see any messages. All right. Well, I see a lot of familiar faces, which is always wonderful. Vivian, Holly and I were just talking about you last week.
Were your
Hope
ears
everybody's
ringing?
okay. Everybody's okay.
Everybody's good. How are you?
Can't complain. Can't
Good.
complain.
Okay.
Hopefully it was good. Let me know if y'all need something.
Okay. I'm texting Erin.
It was. We were talking about when you were in the ICN coordinator role
Oh, thanks.
in our
Yeah, it was a lot of
connection
fun.
and what we were doing together. And yeah, it was a nice little trip down memory lane.
Yes, yes. That was a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, Holly, do you want to talk about some things we have going on, or maybe give people an opportunity to share what's happening in their organizations or events or something?
Sure. As you can see from the amount of emails that you received from TCN, we've been very busy this summer and do want to promote a couple things that we have coming up. We are doing a workshop on strategic planning, basically geared toward, kind of maybe altering your plan or looking at your plan in light of COVID. So that should be a very interesting workshop. We're also doing a few workshops that Adrian's coordinating on equity, diversity, and inclusion, as well as implicit bias. So stay tuned for those. And then in September, TCN would typically kick off our normal fiscal year meeting. We are doing that virtually this time around. So I believe it's September 17th. Ashley, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We will be having an amazing webinar that morning that you definitely can't miss. So keep your eyes peeled for that information. That'll be coming out really soon. We have a lot obviously going on. So also we did get a new website. It's, same name, tcnetwork.org, but new look. So please feel free to go on there and check that out. Also, the Amazing Raise is coming up very soon. You'll see that a lot of the nonprofits, including some of you on this call, have started planning for that. That kicks off October 1st through the 30th. So keep your eyes open for the Amazing Raise coming up. Does anybody else have anything that they want to share while we're waiting for Adrian and our presenter today? Anything going on
You didn't get the email I sent you?
at your organizations?
Yeah,
Anything you want to share?
sent me a message and then I responded. This form. Okay, put that in register.
All right. So we'll just give it a few minutes for our presenter to hop on, and we should be good to go. On a side note, I love Adrian's virtual background. I think I need my house to look like that.
Okay.
Hello.
So Erin, I was just on the phone with her. She says she's joining now. But we don't see her. Oh, goodness.
Zoom has been strange this morning,
Okay.
so. There she is. Adrian's doing her happy dance with her awesome virtual background.
Because you don't want to see what's going on back there. Richard is here. He is working behind me. Everybody, thanks for joining. We're not going to take up too much more of your time. We just had announcements and all those kinds of wonderful things. And our guest today is Erin. And I'm super excited to have Erin join us. She is phenomenal in what she's doing. So she is going to provide us with some information so that we can stress less, get our mindset right, and then we can be better performers. So Erin, you can take yourself off mute, and then if you need to share any slides or anything, you can share your screen.
All right, Adrian, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for being here. I will apologize for the Zoom technicalities logging in. Here we are. So we're going to pretty much dive right into it. And so the way that I work as a coach, and Adrian, thank you so much for having me here today. And I want you all to know that it's an honor and a privilege to have this time with you. And I will do my best to honor the 25, 30 minutes or so. So as a coach, and as a coach who focuses on the mind, the connection with the mind and the body, I do like to move the body. So please do not feel nervous or intimidated by seeing me standing up on a yoga mat in sort of this studio space. What I would like you to do, however, is give yourself permission to move your body with me a little bit for the next 25 to 30 minutes and connect with the breath. So I'm going to talk about leadership principles as I do this. I'm going to talk about ways to harmonize just life, sensations in life while doing this. And I would also ask that you just give yourself permission to kind of follow along some of the mind-body movement instruction, because in order to be an effective leader, which by the way, we're all leaders, there's a term called legitimate power, which has to do with the definition of a leader having to do with a title and a paycheck. That is a form of leadership. However, we are all leaders in the sense that all of us exhibit leadership qualities through the process of social influence that takes place through communication. And today what we're going to focus on as we connect with the body just a little bit, we're going to focus on 3 forms of communication: verbal, nonverbal, and material. And in order to be an effective leader, in order to, and the definition of effective is another conversation, but in order to feel like you're having that positive impact as a leader, it's important to not only cultivate the verbal leadership side of communication, but it's also important to cultivate the nonverbal and the material, which actually make up 2/3 of what it takes to be effective. So what I mean by that is it's not all about the talking. It's also about how, what is our posture? How are we showing up? How are we preparing? How did we prepare for something like today, coming into it? What are we coming into this session with? And which brings me to another point. In a moment, we're going to focus specifically on material communication, and that we're going to focus on setting up for this practice, really giving ourselves permission to kind of allow whatever's happening on the outside right now to just sort of stay, allow whatever's happening on the inside to just sort of come and go as we find ourselves present and engaged in this session together as a community, as a family. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and you don't have to be standing for this, but perhaps many of you at this point are sitting down a lot during the day because a lot of what we're doing is virtual. We're doing a lot of remote work. So if you do feel comfortable and you're not dealing with any, major physical limitations, please do take an opportunity to stand with me. And if you do decide to stand and you're not used to doing a ton of physical activity these days because we're all kind of cooped up, just do me a favor and just stand with your feet hip width apart and have like sort of a micro bend in the legs, okay? So if you are gonna stand up, just stand up and just kind of have like a nice little micro bend in the legs. And then what I always like to do, taking your hands, just kind of tuck under, curl under the tailbone, even though anatomically that is not possible. And go ahead and place your left palm over your lower belly core and engage that. So in Chinese medicine, everything we do on one side, we do on the other, and that really helps to create that harmony. You'll notice I don't usually say the word balance. So just give yourself a second if you decide to stand up, just kind of adjust. And just note moving forward, if you decide to stay seated, that's no problem whatsoever. If you want to go ahead and take your camera off video, you can. You can also leave it on. This isn't so much about how things look, it's about how we're feeling. And I want to share that moving the body physically as we go through this time together is actually going to improve your leadership abilities, and here's why. The more we connect with our physical body and move the physical body and open the physical body, the more we're connecting with self. We become more aware of what's happening in our body. We become more aware of how we feel about what's happening in our body, and therefore we become more aware of what's happening with other people around us. So if you do have that legitimate power title, maybe you find yourself managing teams today, the more you can connect with your own physical body, literally touching, your own, connecting with your own physical body, moving through this practice with me, which will be very basic, and you'll see that in a few moments. It's going to increase self-awareness, and it's going to allow you to connect further with those around you. So another thing that you're probably running into a lot these days, guys, is you're probably having to over-express because you're doing a lot of your work virtually. Maybe some of you are having to use video, maybe some of you aren't. So what I want to invite you to do is we're going to do a little bit of a breathing technique, and this is called the Coherence Technique. There's a company called HeartMath that has been around for decades, and they're one of the really a handful of research institutions around the globe who has entirely dedicated their lives to studying matters of the heart and to actually backing matters of the heart with science. And they developed this technique called the Coherence Technique. And I'm really excited to share this with each of you today because Adrian gave me a little bit of background on what TCN is all about. And it sounds to me like the large part, most of you are what I would call rescuers. And that being said, in that role of a rescuer where you find yourself dealing sort of in crisis mode and kind of navigating through what might be considered chaotic moments, the Coherence Technique is a really quick way to ground and center. So we're going to do that now, and it's also going to allow you to relax your face. Quite honestly, just kind of like soften the muscles of the face, because we don't have to worry about, you don't have to be smiling right now. You don't have to be, we're not game on for the next 20 minutes or so. So what I'm going to ask you to do, if you're seated, that's great. If you're seated, just do your best to elongate your torso. And what I mean by that, give yourself a little more space. And if you're standing, I invite you to do this as well. Give yourself a little more space distance between the hips and the rib cage. Okay. So just kind of opening up the belly a bit without puffing out the chest too much, all right? So allow the chest to kind of feel normal. We puff out the chest sometimes when we feel like we need to defend and protect. We're just not in that space right now. So you can soften the chest and soften the shoulders, okay? And just if you are standing, allow your arms to fall to the sides and begin to intentionally breathe in through the nose, okay? And as you're doing that, place your tongue on the roof of the mouth. So when you place your tongue on the roof of your mouth, it's going to soften the jaw, okay? When you feel that jaw softening, sort of allow the rest of the face to fall in line. So you're breathing in through the nose, and maybe for the first few exhales, you just kind of, right? Just kind of allow the breath to come out the mouth and sigh out the mouth. Now, the work I do for a living today is very selfish, and just continue to do that for the next few moments at your own pace. Transition to in and out of the nose when you feel satisfied. The work I do today is very selfish because I used to believe that everything that we're talking about and doing was, for lack of a better word, a bunch of quackery. I was too busy for it. I didn't have time. I was in the healthcare field, and I was on call 24/7. And so over time, I learned just how valuable mindfulness and mindset work is. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to know that during this time, you're not getting just the physical benefit. You're getting so much more than that. It's very important for me to feel like the way I spend my time is of value. And so right now we're breathing, and that's great because it's doing a few things. It's allowing us to maybe become a little bit more aware of what's happening right here in this moment between us as a group, as a unit. Perhaps it's also, you might feel some opening. Oh, I almost forgot. Please take the cap of judgment off just for a little while, just for the next few moments. Just go ahead and place it off to the side, and go ahead and place the cap of observation on. So if you're feeling anything, if you're feeling any tension or tightness, just observe. Just observe it. Just allow it to kind of come and go. Obviously, any strong pains, you can take care of that. But any discomfort, breathe in. Breathe in, and every time you breathe in, see that oxygen go into that area, and allow the oxygen to travel throughout the body and to go to the places it's needed. Another benefit of what's happening right now is most of you have probably been breathing quite shallow throughout the day. That's normal. It's what we do. We get nervous for things, and we breathe a little too shallow. So really give yourself permission right now to breathe more intentionally. For some of you, that might feel more deep. For some of you, it might feel longer. And for some of you, just might feel more intentional. And so just giving yourself permission to breathe deeply, as it helps to boost your immune system. The oxygen kills bacteria. So when we feel like when our bloodstream has enough oxygen in it, nutrients are being fed, being given life, and elements that don't belong are being killed off by the oxygen. So yeah, just giving yourself permission to breathe right now. Okay, great. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to transition into something that's called Qigong as I continue talking about leadership principles. Qigong is an ancient Chinese practice. It is, if you know what Tai Chi is, it's kind of like Tai Chi's sister. It's a stationary practice. It's very much a yin practice, although it can be very yang as well. And what I mean by that is basically it's about stillness. The practice of Qigong, it's about presence, engagement, and it can also be very active and very strengthening. Although today, perhaps just allow whatever you feel you need to be given to you through this practice. So go ahead and place your arms out to the sides. You can practice this while seated, just so you know. Fingers are relaxed. And if you'll notice, I've got space between the body and the arms. And the chi, or the energy, life force, is able to move more freely throughout the body when there's space. Just find yourself in this space. Chin's parallel to the earth, eyes are on the horizon straight ahead, or if you're having to look a little bit down at the computer, that's fine too. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, Just allow the chest and the shoulders to soften. Thumbs are relaxed, fingers are relaxed. On the next inhale, bringing arms to bend at a 90-degree angle and pausing here. Thumbs are relaxed, knees are slightly bent, giving yourself permission to just sort of check in with the body. Right? This is material communication. Effective leadership is about material communication. Am I trying to skip over this step right now? Do I find this to be tedious and, or do I find this to be useful? The more present we can be for the preparation and the setting up of anything, it will translate into how we prepare in life, how we show up in life. That conference call that we have, it's felt when we feel engaged and present. Let us give ourselves permission to feel engaged and present in this part of the practice. If you feel any discomfort right now, that's okay too. Breathe into it. If you have to move your arms at any time in another direction, that's okay. Bring them back down to the sides, lift them up, no worries. This is all about connecting with the breath. And on the next inhale, almost treat the inhale like a cue for expansion. So inhale, palms coming out just beyond the sides of the body. And pause. Exhale. Come back together. Now the cueing of the breath takes practice. Just try to get as close as you can. Inhale, expand. Pause. Exhale. One more time. Pause. On the next inhale, bringing arms up to heart and heart center. Notice the elbows are lower than the hands. And on the next inhale, expanding arms out wider than the sides of the body, almost like you're wrapping your arms around a large redwood or sequoia or your favorite tree. And after a brief pause, exhale, coming back together. One of the most important parts about this practice is that space between the inhale and the exhale. Breathing in, we expand. At pause, where we're not inhaling or exhaling. And out. Why is that space so important? Inhale, bringing arms up above the head. Exhale, softening the shoulders. Inhale, arms extending out wide to the sides of the body. Pausing here. Exhale, coming back together. Space between events. Are we able to pause? Breathing in. Expansion. Pause. And out. Do this one more time. Inhale. Fingertips facing forward, wrists arched at about a 45-degree angle, almost as if the tops of your hands are resting on the top of a small V-shaped birdhouse. On the next inhale, slightly lifting the arms up. And as you exhale, begin to very slowly bring the palms down in front of the face. And down, elbows are below the hands, in front of the body. The slower we move in Qigong, the more the energy flows. And when you arrive to the level of the pelvis, you can pause there. Inhaling, arcing wrists out, form 3 wide spirals. Why is the pause so important? What's happening in the pause? We're not thinking about the inhale in between breaths, exhale, wrists out. And we're not really thinking about the exhale, or at least we're not doing it. That space between the inhale and the exhale is a sort of nothingness. And how often do we give ourselves a chance one more time to experience that pause? One time a day, 10 times a day. Fingertips facing down, wrapping palms around the body, returning to what we call ready position. Now, doing your best not to lift your feet, although I know this can feel challenging. Trying to just shift your weight from the fronts to the backs of your feet. And just give your body a chance to prepare for the next posture. We're going to do 2 more and close. And the next I will tell you about in a moment. Just do a quick check-in. Is the tailbone curled under, the knees slight micro bend, shoulders are relaxed, fingers are relaxed. We'll focus on the lungs today. On the next inhale, bringing arms out and around to the front of the body, arms at a shoulder height. Index fingers meet the thumbs, hands connect. And on the next inhale, expanding arms out wide to the sides of the body, all the way into a capital T formation. Pausing here, palms reverse, face the sky. Index fingers and thumbs release, and exhale, coming back together. In Chinese medicine, the lungs are associated with grieving and sadness. They are also associated with the masculine, palms facing down, index fingers and thumbs connect, hands meet, shoulders are softened, and on the next inhale, expanding arms out to the sides of the body. So this posture is called Nourishing the Lungs. Palms face the sky, index fingers release, and it is designed, exhale, to alleviate respiratory symptoms, congestion in the chest, bronchial symptoms, palms facing down, index fingers and thumbs connect, hands meet. And therefore, it is also designed, inhale, expand, to alleviate feelings of sadness and grieving. There may be an opportunity for healing with the masculine. Fingertips release. Could be healing with a male in your life, could be healing with the balance within you of yin and yang. This posture is designed to support that and help with that. Do this one more time. Breathing into discomfort, adjusting if there's pain. Inhale, expanding out, knowing that the bigger the inhale, the more oxygen is traveling to the parts of the body that need it the most. I promise you won't breathe too much during this practice. Releasing the fingers. Exhale, coming back together. Beautiful, everyone. And palms facing down, gently, slowly, intentionally bringing palms back down around the sides of the body, shifting the weight as we prepare to close. Taking a nice deep breath in, exhale, shoulders are softened, fingers and thumbs are relaxed. For some reason, the thumbs always seem to like to activate during this practice. Allowing the fingers and thumbs to relax. And on the next inhale, bringing arms up to a 90-degree angle, palm facing palm connection. Left palm at collarbone, right palm at navel. And from here, begin to allow the hands to glide around the surface of, perhaps for you it's a ball or a sphere. Use your imagination. Imagination in the workplace leads to growth and innovation. So if your role involves any type of need for innovation in thought and how you're approaching a task or a project, give yourself a chance to imagine. Maybe it's Mother Earth between your palms or a soccer ball. And as you're breathing, using at your own pace, the sphere begins to get smaller. And as it gets smaller and smaller, it eventually becomes small enough that you can place one palm in front of the other and press against your navel. And we'll end with this, everyone. Taking 9 of the deepest inhalations and exhalations you've taken ever in your life. You may close your eyes if that feels good to you. You do not have to. You can also just kind of look down toward the ground. But these 9 inhalations and exhalations are in and out of the nose, okay? And as you breathe in, I want you to feel your belly expand. So, beginning. And when you feel satisfied, you may allow the arms to fall to the sides of the body. You may walk in place. You may carry any of the empowered sensations that you may feel at this time with you throughout this day. You don't have to leave it. You get to carry it with you. You get to take it with you. And just, I'll end with this. You are all doing amazing work. There's a word called Kaizen. And in Japanese, it's a Japanese word that means improvement. And so I invite each of you to give yourself permission to be in a space of Kaizen today, knowing that perfection is the enemy of good. So thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you, Erin. I was in the middle of typing a message to say how important it is for us to remind ourselves of our connection the connection of breathing with our healing, and then making ourselves available so that we can receive what we need to, as you said, to be innovative. I love this. I'm going to be doing this, and Richard, my husband, is going to be like, what is going on?
Feels good, right? Yeah, it's great. That's the chi. That's the chi right there.
So everyone, you can feel welcome to, if you're awake, okay, to turn on your cameras. Do you have any questions for Aaron? Do you want to share about the experience? Did you feel differently? Is there a particular thing that you want to be willing to use more? Let's share.
Just even the calming voice is a nice, like the slower pace of the voice, forces you to just slow it down.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Shelley, you were co-presenting. You don't know that, okay? Your camera was on the whole time.
Oh no.
So we got to see you moving along with Aaron. You want to talk about your experience?
Yes, I do. Recently, I had to be admitted to the hospital due to heart conditions, and I think it was with all the stress of being home, the job, not being able to cut off. My computer's on when I get up, it's off when I go to bed, and just so many things occurring in our life where you have to be the leader in your job, and you have to manage all of the crises that are happening, because each time something occurs, it's new. It hasn't happened in this manner. How do we handle it? And that it physically took a toll on me when I didn't even know it was taking a toll on me. And this week I decided to step back and take some time for myself to do whatever that is that I need to do on a daily basis. And I saw your Facebook, and I said, this is it. I'm starting today.
Yeah.
I am carving out time for myself because my job does not get 24 hours of me. Yes.
I understand.
So that's, when I saw that, that was my signal to, this is the start of something new.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed everything.
How did you feel going through the exercises?
It actually really did. And I think the calming voice as well helped you just sort of decompose, and you mentally sort of took that calming nature to your own self and allowing that to come in and just relax you and being mindful of your breath. And it just, and you did, I felt a little energized at the end too, with just the breathing exercises. So I felt pretty good.
Aaron, what are your thoughts about that? We're feeling energized afterwards.
So first of all, thank you, Vivian and Shelley, for the
Thank you,
feedback
Shelley.
and just sharing. It's always fun to hear the experiences, and you know, it's always a little different for everyone. I mean, some people come out of it actually feeling really tired and almost lethargic, because it can be very detoxifying. We did a brief practice, and in that time, organs got cleansed. So it can be very cleansing. So it can make somebody tired. It can also somebody can have a lot of energy after Qigong. Sometimes people become very giddy after Qigong. Sometimes people cry. It's an emotional process practice. You guys will probably all sleep really well tonight, even in just that 15, 20 minutes that we had. Yeah, because it gives the body a break. And just so you know, Shelley, I mean, there are so many health benefits to Qigong. I mean, it's not this extensive, like overly stretchy kind of, and I teach yoga too. I'm a yoga teacher as well.
Okay.
But the cool thing about Qigong is that what we would do, a full practice is 45 minutes to an hour, but you're getting the benefits in that time. It's good for the heart. It lowers blood pressure. It relieves anxiety. It's really good for migraines and headaches. It's great for asthma and respiratory function. So as you guys can imagine, my work has increased during COVID because of the respiratory nature and symptoms of the disease. And then so anyway, so from the actual mind body movement piece, like you're spot on with everything that you're feeling. Sometimes people feel tingly when they're practicing it, like they feel like the chi actually feels tingly. Sometimes it feels hot, the temperature feels hot. Sometimes, like today, I'm heated up, but some days my body cools down. So that it just kind of depends. So yeah.
Wonderful. Anybody else? Jean or Wendy or Susan or Kathleen? Anything you want to share about your experience here? And I really loved how, as you were talking about as what we wanted is to connect it to the leadership piece. So how it helps us to be better leaders, because that was what we wanted to talk about. All right. Angela has something in the chat box.
Adrian, if I could just say briefly on that, I mean, that's really why I do what I do. I mean, I said this early in the practice, I'm very selfish with my work. It's not just the physical health benefits, which is huge. This also helps me as a leader. It helps me, the more that I'm able to become aware of my emotions and what's happening with my body, the more I'm able to connect with others. And it really even goes beyond that. I'm able to literally articulate where I am at and therefore understand where my teams are at. So, I mean, it's one of these things that once you start practicing it and you see it for yourself, it makes a lot more sense. So just wanted to share that.
And I also like that was a short experience. So we're so busy in our days, but you really need to take that 15 and 20 minutes and do something good and healthy and mindful for yourself. And that's another thing that we want to make sure we get across.
Absolutely. And 15, 20 minutes, honestly, is a pretty good chunk of time. And, so even just waking up in the morning, guys, and just, counting to 10 with inhale, exhale, 1, inhale, exhale, 2, inhale, counting to 10 with the breath. I mean, do that in the morning, do it sometime in the afternoon. I drove 17 hours straight once overnight without any caffeine. And what I did every time I started to get tired was I did something called the warrior's breath, which is basically, it's an intense breathing technique, but it's like where like you involve the neck and you involve the chest, and I was fine. So wow. The oxygen gives us energy. So, if you find yourself kind of like dozing off, like just like, just kind of bring that oxygen back in. It can be real short, 30 seconds, less.
Yes. All right. Well, we have some folks that have said thank you, that this has been helpful. They enjoyed the session. I know I did. And we appreciate you, Aaron. Aaron, I'm going to make sure everyone gets your contact information. This was broadcast on Facebook Live as well. We are live on Facebook. So if you want to see it again, go to the TCN Facebook page and you can watch it there as well. Aaron, anything you want to say before I turn it over to Holly to dismiss us?
All I will say is give yourself permission to put yourself first. Don't be afraid to do it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Holly or Ashley, any closing comments?
Thanks everybody for attending today. It was a great session. And as always, if you have suggestions or ideas or even anything that we've done that you feel would be great to present to your team, get in touch with us and we're happy to do that.
Yes. Don't forget that TCN is here for you, and I'll come to your Zoom meeting. I was going to say I'll come to your workplace. And provide any helpful information that you need. Just as an aside, if you need some coaching one-on-one, we have a few opportunities there. And if you just need some support in facilitating a session, a conflict between teams, that's something else that we've been offering because we all know that the stress is real. And we want to support you every way we can. And then look for our new events coming up. We appreciate you. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Have a good day.
Thank you all.
Thanks, TCN. Thanks. See you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.